Hey guys, thank you for stopping by my channel today. Welcome back to the members of my G crew, and if you're new to my channel, just plain old welcome. So I've got a haul for you today. I went to Ulta with the explicit and specific. Why did I just choose such complicated words right there? The explicit and specific intention of sticking to the drugstore side of the store versus the high-end, oh so pretty other end of the store. And I did that. I stuck to the drugstore side and I bought so many little things that all of those little things added up that I might as well have gone to the other side of the store too. I mean, cause look, they gave me the big bag. They actually gave me the big bag. But that's okay, it's all good. And so if you're interested in finding out what I picked up at the Ulta drugstore section, then just keep watching. I just want to follow up real quick on the video that I posted last week about what items I kept within my apocalypse bag. I will link that video down below. Interestingly enough, I really thought that I had almost too much stuff in there. Thank you for all of your validation. Ironically though, there were definitely things I was missing. And so thanks to your comments last week, I have now added safety pins and a Swiss Army knife within that apocalypse bag. So I really think I have it covered now. And I love how some of you guys are going out and creating your own apocalypse bag. So one of the best ways to shop is when they have the buy one, get one 50% off. Even better is buy one, get one free. But Ulta was only offering me buy one, get one 50% off, and so I used it as an opportunity. One of the first things that I picked up that I have been looking for quite a while is by L'Oreal. It's the Infallible Pro Glow 24-hour foundation. So this is the complement now to the Infallible Pro Matte foundation, which I have loved ever since it came out. So this is the alternate version for dry skin folks or combination skin. So basically what that means is that this will be kind of hydrating in nature. So I did pick up 2 shades because it was buy one get one 50%, and I thought I would take advantage of the ever-changing shades of my skin with the presence of the sun from the summertime. So I did wind up using it just a little bit already, so kind of like my first impression review of it. It's not quite as full coverage or as much coverage as the Pro Matte version was. I find that this is a little bit thinner, probably because it's hydrating in nature, and so it kind of thins it out a little bit. I also feel like the color selection was not as primo as it was for the Pro Matte line. The Pro Matte line had quite a bit of yellow based or yellow undertone shades, and so I went similarly in the shade line for this style, and I find that they're still a little bit too pink toned. I'm not even sure why they would do that. You would think it would try to be similar. It makes our selection process in the drugstore so much easier, especially when there is not a sample. So I was worried about using this foundation, particularly because I definitely do have oily or oily to combination skin. Sometimes, and I've referenced this before, sometimes the Pro Matte version is almost a little bit too matte, and if my skin is for whatever reason just not supremely happy, it sometimes will be just so matte that it's a little bit too tightening on my skin. So that being said, I was also worried about this one being too hydrating and too gooey and too shiny and all that. Turns out I really, really like this. Although it did not actually mattify me, I did not feel all dewy and glistening. Glisteningly, whatever that word is. So basically, in a nutshell, it gives you pretty decent coverage, doesn't mattify you like crazy, but also doesn't like illuminate you like crazy, even though it's called Pro Glow. So for people like me with combination oily skin, I am able to wear it, but then also if you've got dry skin, it does give you some added moisture. So all around a score, except for the color selection. I wish that were a little better. I picked up a couple other little tubies of things. This is by CoverGirl. This is the Clean Matte BB cream, and this one is specifically for oily skin. So I was like, yay, that's for me. I heard a couple of fellow YouTubers discussing this on their channels, and so I really wanted to check it out. I got the shades 520 and 530, which was light and then light medium. My reaction to this, because I did use it twice, my reaction to this is that it is very thin, and so it really doesn't give you a ton of coverage. And then again, that is what a BB cream is meant to do. However, I mean, this was like bare minimum. This was not what I'm typically looking for even in a BB cream. I didn't find it also particularly mattifying. To me, it just seemed like kind of a normal BB cream, but I will continue using it. I think it's great for like a beach day or a pool day where, you know, you want just a little bit of coverage, you don't want to go crazy. And so in that regard, it is a really good BB cream, but I think because they touted it as being a matte formula, I was kind of looking for it to do a little bit more, but I was definitely quite dewy even just halfway through the day. So that was my face department collection, and then I went crazy town when it came to lip products. What I'm wearing right now by NYX is the liquid Suede cream lipstick that comes in a tube, has a doe foot applicator, which I actually really kind of like because the doe foot applicator is really quite large. This is in the shade Sandstorm, and it's definitely like a brownie pink. And like I said, it's what I'm wearing right now. This takes me back to 1995 and Beverly Hills 90210, where kind of the brown sorts of lipsticks were all the rage. I like these cream lipsticks. You know, they're not too drying. They end on something of a creamy matte finish. So they are very comfortable, definitely more comfortable than some of the other liquid lipsticks that are out there, which kind of suck the life out of your lips oftentimes. And so has decent staying power, you know, isn't going to handle, for example, like a piece of fried chicken. I think if you were to eat fried chicken with this on, you might have to reapply when you were done. But all in all, a really good lip product. I picked up two other things from NYX. I don't know how new this particular product is, but I hadn't seen it somewhat recently. This is called the Simply Nude lip cream, and they had like different departments. Like they had the nudes, they had the pinks, they had berries maybe, and like browns. And so I, of course, went to the nude section. So basically it's like a lip pencil, and it's a screw up, which doesn't sound very promising. You don't want to have a screw up, but it doesn't require sharpening, and it's pretty comfortable to wear. It isn't particularly long lasting. I got the shade Exposed, and by comparison, here it is. It's like a pinky brown with way more pink, and so it's not really brown, but it's not like a bright pink either. This was the darkest one of the nude collection. They had some really, really pale ones, which I'm always afraid of because I feel like they kind of white you out just a little bit. They kind of like make your skin the same color as your lip, and I don't necessarily find that attractive. So they call it a lip cream, and I find that it's a little bit shiny, like slippery, like not like creamy does not come to mind when I have this on, but it stays on pretty good. The last thing I got by NYX was actually on clearance, and so I was really sad because another shade that I have called Flutter Kiss, like I live for. The lip products are rolling all over the place right now. They cannot stick together. So these are the high voltage lipsticks, which I think have really good pigment. They have really good like comfortable wearing factor. They don't, again, last like all day long, but I mean, I really give it, that ship has sailed. I'm not really looking for my lipstick to last entirely all day long. So it was on clearance, and so it was like $3, and the shade I got is called, who could tell? Oh, Dirty Talk. Oh, that sounds fancy. And it is, again, reminds me kind of 1995. It is definitely a brown. It is a dark brown. And I don't know, I decided to step outside my box because you know I say the words pinky nude or peachy nude like a million times here on my channel. And so this is just, it's like a brown version of like a deep wine color. I haven't worn this particular shade yet. I feel like it requires an event. I will let you know when that event arrives. I picked up from Maybelline another one of their matte lipsticks. I've got a number of other shades, which I believe I listed in a favorites video. So I picked up another shade. It's called Nude Nuance. And it's one of those nudes that kind of isn't really a nude because it's got like a pinky mauve-y factor to it. This is Nude Nuance, and I just love these. These matte lipsticks are creamy. They stay on your lips. They don't make you feel gross, and they're just super comfortable for a really, really good price. And so this is Nude Nuance. I think I said Nude Nuance. Now that was a fourth time. I need to step away and move on to the next lippy. By the way, I was really excited because I saw in one of the displays at Maybelline, they have these little lip paints now, which remind me a lot of the Too Faced melted lipsticks. They came in a very similar container to this similar package, much smaller, but they touted themselves as being a lip paint, and it had the same similar applicator as the one by Too Faced does, you know, with that little kind of spongy, almost like a doe foot squeezy sort of thing. They need to give us really good descriptions of these so that we can talk about them appropriately. You know why I know what the applicator was like on the Maybelline lip paint version? Because they weren't sealed. And everybody went hog wild in Ulta and had opened all of them. Some of them had been squeezed and tested so much that the containers themselves were flat. This was very disappointing to me. First of all, Maybelline, seal your stuff up, because apparently there are some of us out there that feel compelled to use up the product that we haven't even bought yet and make it impossible for other people to buy said product. I don't know, sometimes I feel like the cosmetics displays and the makeup displays in Ulta are kind of like attacked. I don't know, I don't understand that. So anyway, I did not get the Maybelline lip paint, which looked really cool, had some really cool colors, but was manhandled and became very gross. So instead, I moved over to the Makeup Revolution area and I picked up one of their lipsticks. Usually when I find like a lip product line, unless there are a number of colors that really stand out to me, I typically will buy one or two only because I want to try out the formula, I want to see what it's like, and I don't necessarily dive in and buy like the entire line. So of course I got the single form of nude one by Makeup Revolution. This one is called Love Nude. Yes, I do. It is not tremendously pigmented. It glides on very, very smoothly, which is nice, but doesn't then give it much staying power. It's a very pale nude, which sometimes is what you're looking for. I like it. I will not be returning it, but this is not one of those lipsticks where I'm like, oh my gosh, the pigment, I can't take it, it is so much. Since I was in the Makeup Revolution area, I was kind of browsing through their other products, and I do have some of their eye palettes, and they are very good. I was looking at their blushes, and a couple of the more neutral blushes were sold out. The blushes that they did have were very bright and very intense, and so they made me afraid. I backed away from them. I was primarily interested in the highlighters that I had heard other YouTubers talking about, and I had heard were getting really good reviews. The one most popular shade, which I think was called Radiant something, which was kind of like the neutrally, not too gold, not too pink, not too peach, not too anything, just kind of the most neutral highlighter that they would offer. And of course it was sold out. So as I was lamenting the fact that I could not get a hold of that particular highlighter, I was distracted and my attention was caught by a highlighter in a tube, which looked like a very, very large lipstick. When I checked out the shade in store, it is also a very neutrally kind of goldy peachy sort of shade. And I was like, that's very user-friendly. And so, by the way, before I swatch this, can we just acknowledge that my lip purchases here are not all pinky nudes or peachy nudes. There is definitely variety on these swatches right now. I am so proud of myself. Okay, back to the highlighter. So when I got home and swatched it, and I am actually wearing the highlighter today, I don't typically go to cream highlighters. This is actually like a cream highlighter. Here is the swatchy. So it's not like super intense and not like super reflective, which I definitely appreciate because that's not, again, what I go for. I see that it's a little bit flecky. I see that there are some like highlighter flecks in there, but honestly, on application, I don't really feel like they are obnoxious or annoying. Now, when it comes to summertime, I mean, you have seen, I'm sure, if you're watching me, you're watching other channels, and you have seen how the highlighter is out there, and there is like Cover FX, those highlighter drops, holy cow, like you need sunglasses in order to look at them, and they look gorgeous and beautiful. I do not have them yet. I am interested in trying them. But highlighter in the summertime, you kind of almost can't go wrong. Between highlighter and bronzer, like you can go to town and still look fabulous because of the nature of the season. Because of the fleckiness of this guy, which was only $9 by the way, because of the fleckiness, I might not want to wear it in the middle of winter. I might not want to show up to Christmas dinner with some fleckies highlighting the tops of my cheeks. I would look completely unnatural. I would much rather look a little bit more unnatural in the middle of the summertime where it's a little bit more appropriate to look a little bit unnatural. But I'm using the word unnatural. I do think this highlighter translates very well. It is a little tacky. I'm not used to using, like I said, a cream highlighter. I don't typically use cream products because I feel like they slide all over my face. You can use a stippling brush and apply from that brush. But if you do go stick to face, you do have to kind of pat it in and blend it in either with your fingertips or with a stippling brush. I had recently done a get ready with me when I did my eyebrows using the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. This time I picked up the shade medium to dark. I was using the light to medium. And this is kind of tricky for me because I feel like I am directly in between both of them. I am wearing the medium to dark right now, and I don't feel like I look like I've got two worms over my eyes, or maybe perhaps like a cousin of Charlie Chaplin. I feel like it's okay, but you can definitely go overboard with this medium to dark one. I do love applying this first and kind of filling in my brows where necessary, allowing it to dry, and then I follow up with a brow pencil just kind of on the inner corners, so that I don't wind up actually drawing on as much pencil as I would have before, because the tinted brow gel mascara will kind of get in there and kind of fill in very naturally, and then I can go in with just a little bit of pencil after. Also is way faster, and I'm kind of liking my new technique. Finally, I picked up some shower lotion by Nivea. These, again, are not the same. There is a third version, which is the dark navy blue bottle, which I have. Actually, I reviewed a series of shower lotions. It was one of my first YouTube videos ever, which is a hot mess. But kind of fun to reflect back on. So if you haven't checked it out, please don't laugh at me too much. You are totally allowed to laugh at me because I laugh at me, but cut me a break. I was in front of the camera for one of the first times, and it's kind of hysterical. Anyway, so I had purchased the dark navy, which I've repurchased a number of times, is for the super extra dry skin, and it's made with almond oil. I hadn't realized that there is also a dry skin, like just a normal dry skin, and then a normal to dry skin versus the extra super dry skin. So the dry skin is made with shea butter, and the normal to dry skin is made with sea minerals. And so I do find that the extra super dry skin one, I mean, it was very thick, and so I'm just curious to see if there will be a difference. I live for shower lotions. I do not do well getting out of the shower and applying lotion, because then I feel like my clothes don't go on. You're trying to pull them on and they're like literally stuck to you, and you feel as if you're sweating, but you're not actually, because it's just that your skin is so tacky. I don't know. I much would rather apply the shower lotion in the shower, rinse it off, be somewhat moisturized, and be able to get dressed in a fairly succinct amount of time. Wait, there was one more thing. Also by Makeup Revolution, I picked up their Vivid Baked Bronzer. I was like, well, I'm gonna try their highlighter. Why not try their bronzer? So it's kind of one of those marbled bronzers. It totally reminded me, in looks anyway, of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. So it's not shimmery, but it is not flat either. So it's got like a slight little sheen to it. I am also wearing that today in combination with the highlighter, and I found it to be very pleasing. I'm gonna continue using it and see what its staying power is and kind of how it wears during the day. But my initial impression, I haven't decided if it's a dupe yet for the Hourglass. I will be investigating that. But my initial impression of this bronzer in and of itself is that it does a pretty good job of bronzing, and I think it hits a nice balance between not being flat and not being too reflective, because you definitely don't want a bronzer to be so reflecty. You can sheen, but you cannot reflect. So what have you guys found at the drugstore that perhaps I should put on my list for my next shopping trip? Definitely tell me what you've either found recently or what you've been loving lately. I would love to know. Just as a heads up, like I said, I'm wearing the highlighter and the bronzer and the lipstick that I mentioned on my eyes. I've been using the Lorac Pro 3 palette. And Lorac always puts out a really good quality product. I find that this palette is a little bland. Do I think it's one of their best? No. Am I happy I got it? Yes. And it is what I'm wearing only and completely on my eyes today. So as usual, I am on Instagram and Twitter. I am also now on Snapchat. All 3 locations are just my full name, as is my YouTube channel, Gina Creone. And so I'm having fun with Snapchat. I can't believe it took me so long to get there, but I am actually having a really good time. Basically because sometimes I'm alone and I enjoy not just talking out loud to myself in a room to nobody. It's much more fun to talk to the camera. If you are not already a member of my G Crew, I welcome you and invite you to be one of my subscribers. That would be fabulous. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Of course, and as usual, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. And in the meantime, thanks.
And I went to Ulta with the explicit intention of sticking to the I'm kind of really concerned right now that I've had lipstick on my teeth for the last couple of segments, and so only time will tell when I go back to editing, and the truth will be in the videotape. Oh, please do not have lipstick on your teeth. So the dry skin is made with shea butter. Better. I have lipstick everywhere. There is lipstick on my leg. I've like completely unswatched it from my hand. I don't even know at what point in time I did that. I sound like a banjo.